Well, students, today we are going to go over your trading window. This is very helpful to you because you see it all the time and may not understand some of those things that go on in your trading window. So please pull out your MetaTrader 4. Make sure you're looking at your phone while I'm talking to you so you get a good understanding. Get your pad and your pen, take some notes. Let's get started. Before we get started, here's a little bit about myself. My name is Adeze Duncan, representing iMarkets Live. Some of you may know me from Forex 101 on IML TV. Also, I was an educator for 10 years, and now I'm here educating you on the facts and methods of Forex. In order to get started on this journey, you need to remember one thing and one thing only. I am a student, always. This is very important for you to remember and to remind yourself of often. You will hear me use this phrase frequently as a reminder that you are a student that is learning a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. Make sure that you take your time and learn what you need to learn. Pace yourself. Do not compare yourself to anyone else's progress. Always keep a winning mind frame and you will do very well in this industry. Upon finishing this video, you should have a very good understanding of the following questions. Read through them quietly to yourself. As you are taking notes, make sure to pause this video in order to answer these questions. So if you get to your trading window and it looks like this is basically where you would go to, either look at orders after you've placed them. You see the very top one, it says balance. Balance is basically the amount of money that you actually have when you have no open positions. This is what you have when you put your initial deposit in. It's going to show that in the balance. This number changes based on your wins and your losses. Below the balance is called equity. This number contains your balance amount plus your profits or losses. If you are up $22, it's going to show it here. This number moves when trades are open. So if you actually have a trade, you see at the bottom where it says positions and you see GBP USD, that one is open currently. And you see they're up $22. So that's why it now shows $10,022. It actually moves and fluctuates while you're winning or losing. So if you're in a big negative, then your equity is going to go down. And when you actually, decide to close your order, whatever your equity says, that is going to become your balance. Your equity is going to go to zero when you close the order out. Underneath your equity is this thing called free margin. This number represents the available money you have in your account to trade with an open new position. So if you've got several positions open, this free margin is going to go down. It shows you how much money you actually have available to take on new trades. All right. Now, here's the thing. If you happen to have multiple trades going, your free margin is going to go down. There is a reason why we suggest that you trade or you have different accounts set up for different things. So for instance, if you have an auto trader set up, or if you're using let's say Fusion Trader, or if you're using swipe trades, if you yourself are personally trading, it is best to have a separate account for each one. Why? Because depending on how things are going, if things are going well, great, you can take on more positions. You're going to have more free margin. But in the event that, let's say, one of those is not doing so well, that's going to remove how much free margin you actually have in your account. And that can actually cause some of your positions to start closing depending on how they're doing. You're basically increasing your risk by having more people or more different things trading out of the same account. It is best to have multiple different accounts to trade out of. So that way your free margin is not contingent on if the auto trader is doing well, or if your swipe trade is doing well, or if you are doing well. It's only contingent on just one person trading that one type of account at a time. Hopefully that makes sense. With no open accounts, equity, free margin, and balance should all be equal. They should all equal the same thing. The next one is margin level percent. Now, this is something that you definitely want to pay attention to. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about in free margin, why you shouldn't have multiple different things, different options trading out of the same account. Right? This is the ratio between equity and margin. When your margin level percent reaches 100%, you are not going to be able to take on any new positions. And then you are also in danger of having losing positions closed immediately, depending on what they are. Your broker is going to close out the biggest losing position first. This is called being margin called. Never let it reach 100% or below. Just don't let it happen. If you are nearing the 100%, don't take on any new positions, and it is best that you close out the smallest ones. So let me give you an example. Right now, things are going good, but what happens if you're in a trade and you've got a trade that's negative $500, negative, $20, negative, $5. If you can close the $20 and the $5 one, and then still be able to keep the 500. That's probably not a great example because you shouldn't be negative 5. Well, it depends on what your account is, but anyhow, I'll keep on with this example. Let's say you were able to close the 20 and the 5 out, and that would now increase your margin level percent to, maybe let's say 300%. Now you've just given yourself room to breathe. You've just given your trade the ability to still turn around if it hasn't already hit your stop loss. Now, in the situation where your margin level percent is below 100, your broker is going to go after the most expensive one. They're going to close the $500 one out. And that's going to take a huge chunk of your account. If you had a strategy where you knew that you wanted that 500 to be open like that and you did not want it to be closed, it's in your best interest to close out the smaller ones. A lot of us don't like to close losing positions, but it's better that you close it and not them. Because if they do, they're protecting their interests. The key is don't take on too many trades. You should always limit the amount of positions you take on at any given time. Don't take too many out, and always keep an eye on your margin level percent. You want it high. In this picture, the higher, the better. Right now it's at 6,709. That's great. They're nowhere near close to getting their account blown. And when I say blown, like where the broker closes your account or where you lose a gigantic chunk or all of your money in your account, one of the two. So make sure the higher the better. Keep it away from 100. Margin is your down payment needed to get you into the trade. This is non-leveraged money. So I did talk to you guys about leverage. So go back to the video that talks about lots and leverage. But margin is basically, for instance, when you buy a house, you don't just get to go into a bank and say, hey, I want to buy this $250,000 house. This is, great, right? Just give me the money. They're going to say, well, we need 20% of that 250,000. They're going to take 20%. That's their margin. So if anything goes bad, they're keeping that as well. All right. It's the same with this. You have to put a down payment on your money, whatever the down payment is. You have to put a down payment on any position you open. So the more positions you open, the higher your margin. So in the event that you get a margin call, like I was talking about, they are going to close out your losing position. And they're also going to take that margin, whatever is in there. They're going to take that down payment also. So you can stand to lose a gigantic chunk of money, which is why, like I said earlier, keep that margin level percent above 100 just to stay in the clear. Margin is just your down payment. By now, you should have a good understanding of the following questions. Read them quietly to yourself, and when you are finished, go on to the next video in this series. Thank you so much. My name is Adeze Duncan, and remember, I am a student always.